Hey guys, it's Emma here, welcome back to my channel, and I really don't want to do this. Okay, so in today's video I will be reacting to my old work. Now, I've spoken about it in the past, I've touched on it in a few videos and posts if you follow my social media, but I used to have this thing where I can't look at my own work, at least not old work, because it's just so cringy and just not who I am now. And I just, you know, at one point when you think something's really good when you first do it and then you look back on it years later and you're like, oh no, oh no, what was I thinking? So I expect there's going to be a few of those reactions in this video. But the reason I'm doing this is because it is important to look back on your own work, and it is important to reflect on the type of artist or creative that you were then as opposed to now. I haven't looked at them properly in years, so some of them are up to 6 years old, going all the way to about 2 years old. Again, when my style was very different, so I'm going to look at them and react to them on camera and review them and just critique them and talk about them and try not to cringe too much. Number 1. Right, so this is when I first started getting into portraiture. This was taken in March 2013 at the Birmingham Photography Show at the NEC. It's one of the largest photography events and exhibitions in the UK. It's every year in March, and this was the first time that I went. I was 17 and had decided that I wanted to pursue a career in photography. So at this expo they have all sorts of things. They've got like little pop-up studios with live shoots going on where you can kind of partake and stuff like that. And so this was one of them. That tiny little me with her tiny little Sony A37 camera, her first DSLR, decided to get in on. And I remember at the time I took this image and looked at it and was like, I am God's gift to studio portraiture. Which, okay, so first of all, it's quite grainy. It's not too bad. It's a little bit grainy. Slightly overexposed as well. I've edited it and sort of blown out the highlights a bit. I don't know why I did. Again, at 17, I wasn't the best retoucher, so I've sort of blown out a lot of the highlights. Clearly didn't know what I was doing. You know, I clearly thought in my mind, high contrast means good. You know, the more you do to it, the better it's gonna look, which I've since learned that less is more. It's very basic, and I don't really like the composition, the way it's been cropped. Next one. Oh, somebody thought they were edgy. So again, this was at the same event, and this was with a smoke machine and all sorts. And I don't know if it's the camera that I was using or the settings that I had it on or something, or the way the whole thing was lit, but this image is very grainy. But it looks kind of grungy, to be honest. It looks like some sort of 80s kind of snapshot from behind the scenes of a movie or a music gig or something. Like, it has that kind of appeal. There's a lot of things going on in the foreground, to be honest. I think that was just where I was stood. God, it's just so grainy though. I don't like how grainy it is, and I don't like the sharpness or lack of. Next one. Ah, colour. What is this? This is when I started to get, like, trying to sell my prints on Etsy or Folksy or something, which didn't really work out, but yeah, this was when I discovered, ooh, pretty macro shots of butterflies, I can sell them and make money. It's annoying because the focus isn't really on the butterfly so much as it is the flower that it's perched on. Like, it's really bugging me. The depth of field's nice though, like, I can't, you know, and then I think the square composition sets it off quite nicely, but yeah, there's a reason I don't do wildlife photography. This is a pretty obvious reason as to why. It's very basic and generic. Nobody would look at this image and be like, oh yeah, you took that. This is so far from what I do now. Next one, number 4. Oh, when I tried my hand at landscape photography. Oh no. So this was my first year at uni. I think I'd only just started. So I want to say this was autumn/winter 2013. And I thought vignetting was just so in. It's just like, I don't know what I did. Like, I mean, it's not awful, it's not good. You know, when you're a teenager and you were all emo and you got your camera and you went and took edgy shots of the graveyard and then put them on in black and white and up the contrast and put a vignette around them because you were saying something about death. The shadows are way too much. Like, I just... It's not very sharp though. Again, I don't know what I was doing. Maybe it was just a very old camera. The more I look at this though, the more I'm just mentally disowning it. I like colour. I don't like too much colour though. I do like muted tones and things like that. I don't like very blown out yellows and reds either. I like to keep it quite pulled back and moody but not somber. But before that, I just figured that I hated colour and so everything had to be black and white. Oh, it's my granddad. This is when I started to enjoy portraiture a lot more. This actually isn't a bad image. It's fairly sharp. In fact, actually it's pretty sharp. Around the eyebrows are super sharp, holy hell. The top of the head is super blown out in comparison. My granddad has this really white shock of hair. The background's really bugging me. Oh no. Like, you know, it's too, like, I keep getting distracted by it. Yeah, I still like this one. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, so I can explain. This is my second year at uni and the theme, I can't remember exactly what the theme was. I don't know if it was terms of like identity or personality, but I've done a few images like this since, which are a lot better, both visually and technically, in my opinion, from this one. But this was the first multiple self-portrait that I ever did, as well as the first self-portrait I ever did, at least from my memory. And to be honest, the fact that I never did this before, it looks alright, like editing wise, it looks, I don't think I can see any errors. Oh no, I tell a lie, I can see there's a little bit of haloing around that side of the headphone there. Maybe I thought if I put it in black and white it would hide whatever editing cock-ups there were. I don't know why I put this in black and white. I should have just left it in colour. Also, I don't like this big old empty space here. I mean, just no. That could have been, I could have put another character there. Or I could have just cut it out because it just feels so lopsided now. I'm a very expressive person, aren't I? Very... wow. Next. Oh, I remember this. This was the first proper portrait shoot I'd done on commission for another individual. This model's really cool. Her name is Efe. I'll leave a link to her Instagram. She is awesome. She's a dancer and model and actress. Coventry University, they had a studio, so I spent a lot of time in there sort of practicing, and I'm glad that I did because it was shoots like this that were starting to help me understand what I wanted to do in my style and so on and so forth. It's kind of boring. I mean, it's an alright image. It's not very sharp or detailed. I don't know if that's just because of how I'd saved it. The file is lacking in resolution. But I don't know, it's just kind of, it's just sort of there. Yeah, I'm glad I've evolved since then. Next. Oh no. Right, this was my first fashion shoot. This was for the Coventry University's fashion department. They had a collection that they wanted photographing, and so I offered to step in. I don't actually hate this image. It's kind of unusual. Like, I wouldn't have done it full length though. I think if I were to have done this now, I would have cropped it so it would have been more like this. I would have also done something about this awful dark corner. What is that? What is that? It's kind of ruining the image for me. Also, there isn't enough contrast between the white garment and the white backdrop. Next one. Oh no! Again, the same shoot. It's very bright. This, I remember, they told me they wanted, it was shot on a white backdrop and the shoes were red. And they wanted the backdrop changed to blue, like a pastel blue, and they wanted both shoes a different colour matching the dress. So I sat there for what felt like 5 years, editing the background and the shoes. I didn't do too bad a job. Oh, this is definitely not me. This is not my kind of thing. The movement, I'm sorry, but this half is frozen, this half is not. What is going on there? This is before I knew enough about photographic lighting or strobe lighting to work with it properly. So this was I was still very fresh at studio work. So I was kind of like, you press the button, it fires the flash. No, I think now if I would have taken this now, I would have had it on high speed sync, continuous shooting, definitely up the shutter speed. Okay, this is one that I don't hate. So this was in my second year of uni again, and it was for a project where I was looking into how a lot of magazines and publications, not so much now because I don't think they'd get away with it now, but a few years back there were a lot of uncomfortable scenes of women in very particular poses where they looked dead or assaulted. They were just kind of sexualizing abuse to sell clothes, and I was like, that ain't on. So I kind of flipped the genders a little and kind of said, well, it'd be ridiculous if we posed a male this way. So I did, but I kind of unintentionally created some sort of Caravaggio painting. That lighting's really good. This was where I discovered what I wanted to do, I think. This was the shoot where I discovered my passion for the one light, Rembrandt style setup. I loved that painterly look. The face is a little overexposed though. It's a bit too pallid. I know he was supposed to look dead, but it's a bit too flat. I still like the composition. I still love the lighting. That shine on the shoe's distracting me. Okay, maybe I should have dulled that down a bit. I've just noticed it and now I can't stop noticing it. But yeah, this is, to this day, I still look back on this image and I do quite like it. I do like it, honestly. It was actually exhibited in the uni as well for a couple of years. Actually, it was up for a while. Yeah, I don't know, this was strange. It's not as painful as I thought it was going to be, but yeah, it is fun, as I said, to look back and reflect, as it kind of gives you a sense of where you're going professionally and what look you want and what you want to be known for. And I think that every photographer should go back and look at their old work. I know that it's so tempting to just put it away out of view and erase it from your memory, but it is important to once in a while look at your work, even the bad ones. So yeah, that's it for today's video. So thank you for accompanying me on this very nostalgic, strange, humiliating trip down memory lane. Leave a like and subscribe and hit that bell for notifications. You can check out my Facebook, Instagram and Twitter pages. I will leave the links in the description down below. And with that being said, I will see you in the next video. Bye! I'm gonna sneeze. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. Background's really bugging me. Oh no. Oh no. Those highlights. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. Oh no. Oh no. Wow, that resolution was bad. Oh no.